Hello, today is 10/20 of 25, and I am here with a video of what I eat in a day on my keto journey. If you're new here, my name is Christy. I changed my diet to a high protein, moderate fat, low carb diet in April of 2024. It is 10 a.m., and I'm getting ready to have my first meal of the day. So I am making my coffee with some chai coffee protein powder. Um, I like this. The flavor's a little sweet for me. So like I won't be buying this kind again, but I do have a different kind. I think it's triple shot espresso where it's not quite as sweet. And really, I just want to use it for when I go out of town. I can just shake this up with some water and I got a coffee. But I did want to like use this up just because I have so many bags of protein powder in my house. And so I wanted to get rid of one of them. So that's how I'm going to make my coffee today. And I will be using it up. So that will be fantastic. Just mix it with some water. And then I will be adding a packet of salty brand electrolytes. This is the clean slate. So it doesn't have like a flavor to it, but it does taste kind of salty because, right, it's got salt in it. And that helps to mellow out the sweetness of the chai protein powder. And then I will also be adding in a serving of collagen peptides. For lunch today, we are going to go to Chick-fil-A. So I have some leftover pork belly. I'm just going to slice some of this up and then chop up some avocado with it. And then I will put it in a bowl and get 12 count chicken nuggets, grilled nuggets at Chick-fil-A and put those on top and just kind of eat it like a salad bowl. And then I'm also going to take a Okios Triple Zero yogurt. I plan to mix my psyllium husk into my yogurt. So I will have that too for my second meal. I'll be back with my third. A quick update on my lunch. I was only able to eat about half of my avocado, pork belly, chicken mixture. I actually had my psyllium husk in my coffee just with the timing of things. I ended up putting it into my coffee. So I also didn't have the yogurt with my meal. I am finding that the psyllium husk really makes me feel full, which is great for what I have going on. I probably won't use it forever. Like there are lots of times where it's like I need to be getting more fuel in me because I'm just using so much energy, but I'm not right now, and I'm struggling to like. And I say struggling. I'm not failing. I'm not binge eating, but the psyllium husk is part of what is helping me not do that. So that's where I am with my lunch. I hope I'm able to eat a bit more later because I do want to make sure that I am hitting my protein goals. Uh, and now I am going to make some donuts, not to eat right now, just because I have the time today to like test some recipes. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm trying to figure out some good donut recipes that I can use. Throughout the rest of the year. So right now I'm getting donuts from Conscious Comforts, which is a local bakery in my area that makes gluten-free, sugar-free donuts. But their location is like 40 minutes away from me. Right now, I go to towards that location every week because of my daughter's volleyball, but that will be ending in a couple of weeks. And so, like, I just won't be in that area. So it's not like I'm going to be going and getting them every week. So I want to try and be able to like make some of my own. Plus, it's more cost effective to do it that way. So today's recipe is one that AI created. So, we'll see what happens. I had done a search. Well, I had asked it to create some recipes using Carbalose flour. So that's what this recipe is for. The only change that I'm making to the recipe that it's giving me is that I want to add in some blueberries. So I have about a third of a cup of frozen blueberries that I have put about a tablespoon of the Carbalose flour into, just because when you do that, like, and it can be any kind of flour. Uh, when you do that, that helps the blueberries not to just kind of sink to the bottom of your batter, so then they're all like on the bottom. It'll be able to have them kind of mixed throughout the donut. I have 2 tablespoons of butter here that I have melted. So I'm just letting this cool a bit before I add the other ingredients to it because like I need to add egg and I don't want to cook the egg. And then I have my dry ingredients. So I have 1 cup of the Carbalose flour. I have a 1/4 cup of monk fruit allulose blend for my sweetener. I have a teaspoon of baking powder and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, cinnamon, and baking soda. And I'm just going to mix these together. Okay, so I'll set these to the side. And you know, I really could have just added my blueberries here rather than like adding some flour to the bowl with my blueberries. I could have like added them here to kind of get that. That's really what I should have done. Okay, so for my wet ingredients, I need a 1/4 teaspoon. I have my 2 tablespoons of butter. I need a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. No, I'm sorry, a full teaspoon of vanilla extract. I need a 1/4 teaspoon each of unsweetened almond milk and heavy cream. So I'll just pour this to 1/4 cup and then pour in my almond milk to get to a 1/2 cup. I'll have a 1/4 cup of each. I'm really just whisking it to help kind of cool down that butter a little bit more before I add in my egg. I need 1 large egg. I'll get those whisked together. Okay, and then I'll just combine the wet with the dry. Oh shoot, I forgot to preheat my oven. I'm going to preheat my oven to 350 degrees. All right, and then I'm going to add my blueberries in. I am trying to kind of get out as much of that flour as possible. Like I'm going to end up with kind of piles of it in my bowl, and I just kind of don't want to be adding those to my batter if I don't have to. Yeah, see, there's still quite a bit in there. Just kind of fold this in. And then I've got my silicone donut hole pan, and I'll just get this filled up. And I say just, but it's kind of not just. It's kind of difficult. I probably should like pipe it in, but then I got to get the blueberries through the pipe too. So I mean, I'd need a big hole, I guess, is all. I don't know. I'll just do this. All right, I've got my messy donuts filled. I will bake these for 12 to 15 minutes, hopefully. My donuts are out of the oven. They did take 18 minutes to cook through. So they're just lightly browned, and I did use a toothpick to make sure that they were cooked through. I'm just going to allow them to cool on my cooling rack, and then I plan to make a glaze for them. And while I'm waiting for that, I want to test making meringue. Our family has a banana pie recipe that's been passed down, and we absolutely love it. It is my very favorite dessert. Like if that was the only dessert that I could eat for the rest of my life, that's what I would eat. But it is pretty high carb. I think it's like 87 carbs in a slice. So I want to try to make it lower carb. I wouldn't say it's going to be low carb. I don't know exactly. I haven't figured out what the macros would be exactly. But I'll be using like monk fruit allulose blend for the crust. I traditionally would use graham crackers. So I'm going to use some like cinnamon cookies from Chalk Zero for the crust. So that'll be, lower net carbs, but there's still 3 bananas in the recipe and 2 cups of milk, right? So it is going to be a higher carb, but it'll be lower carb than like the traditional recipe. And I really just, we love it. It has been our tradition and we didn't have it last year. So I want to see if I am able to make it for this year. So I'm going to start with just the meringue to see if I can, if the meringue is going to work out, then okay, I will try making the pudding part and see if that will work out. And if that does, then okay, I'll go ahead and make the pie over the holidays. All right, so I've got 1 large egg white in my bowl. I'm just going to beat this for a bit before I add my sweetener. Okay, so I'm going to need 2 tablespoons of sweetener. I have got it kind of frothy here. I'm going to go ahead and just add 1 tablespoon and beat it together some more. All right, I've got it to like the soft peaks stage. So I'm going to go ahead and add in my other tablespoon of sweetener. So I'm going to just kind of like pile it up on my baking sheet that I have some parchment paper on. Okay, and my oven is still on from my donuts. So I'm going to stick this in and bake it for, I don't know, probably 8 to 10 minutes. My meringue is out of the oven. It looks beautiful. It only took 6 minutes to bake. I'm going to try this. It definitely tastes different than with sugar, but I think that it's okay. I was a little concerned about the allulose, kind of like sometimes it can leave like a bitter aftertaste. Like it's not as good. Like that's part of why they mix it with other sweeteners. But I actually think that this could be okay. I might want to try it with a different sweetener. I'm not exactly sure what. Um, just because I think my family might not like it as much and might not be as excited. Like I'd like to try something, see if I can find something that's going to be a little closer to sugar because there is a little bit of that kind of allulose aftertaste to it. So I think it's successful. I just need to try again. So my donuts are cooled, so I'm ready to make the glaze for those. All right, so here's my donuts. This one is missing part of it. It just, I took it out too early, is really what happened. This one is just missing a little bit of a piece. I think that's partly because of this blueberry here, just kind of broke it off. But the rest of them look really, really good. Okay, so I have 2 tablespoons of a melted coconut oil. I am going to add to this a half teaspoon of vanilla extract. It just wants to like pour out the backside. That's frustrating. Okay, clean myself up. Okay, and then I need 3 tablespoons of powdered sweetener. So I'm using a monk fruit allulose blend. And then I'll just stir these together. And then the recipe says to use 1 to 2 tablespoons of almond milk or water to kind of get the right consistency. So I'm just gonna, I don't know what the right consistency would be. So I'm just gonna add a tablespoon and see what happens. And then like, maybe add some more. Yeah, see, it seems like that just kind of thinned it out, which is not necessarily what I wanted here. And it's a little kind of clumpy, which I think can happen. So I'm not sure if I want to add some more sweetener or just leave it as it is and it'll just be like a true glaze, like you kind of won't really even see it. But I do feel like I want it to be a little thicker than that. So I think I will add a little more sweetener, like another tablespoon. Yeah, I think that's a little closer to what I want. Like maybe if I just didn't add the almond milk, it would have been fine. Although I guess maybe the almond milk might give it a little bit of creaminess. Not sure. Okay, so then you're supposed to just let this sit for like 10 minutes and then pour it over the donuts. Just kidding. You don't need to let it sit for 10 minutes. Okay, I'm just going to spoon this over my donuts and try not to make a huge mess. I mean, I know I will, but as little of a mess as I possibly can. Okay, so the glaze isn't really noticeable. Like it's there, but it's not really what I wanted. I think I wanted like a thicker, more like a frosting, but that's like firm on my donuts. But I think I can just tweak the like the ingredients and make it thicker to get what I want. I'm gonna try this. It tastes like a blueberry muffin. Um, I'm not sure that like the donut itself is like a good donut. Like it kind of tastes like, I don't know, like a whole wheat donut is really kind of what it tastes like. And so that glaze kind of is needed to add a bit of sweetness. And then the blueberries, so it really just it tastes like a good blueberry muffin. So that's great. I think my husband will actually really, really enjoy these. He enjoys blueberry muffins. So I think this is a winner. I just need to tweak that glaze a little bit. It is just after 3 o'clock, and I am getting ready to make my last meal of the day, which is kind of normal for me. I'm usually my hungriest between like 1 and 4. So I'm going to go ahead and eat this. It's a new recipe to me. It's Smokey Shrimp Scampi. So for like the noodles, I am going to use these egg white vermicelli noodles. I thought about using konjac, but I need more protein in my day, so I wanted to use the egg white noodles. In my saute pan, I have 1 tablespoon of butter, 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, a half a teaspoon of dried basil, and a half teaspoon of smoked paprika. Smoked paprika. I'm just going to cook these over a medium-high heat until my butter gets nice and melted for me. I will link to this recipe in the description below, though I am changing it. The original recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of butter, and then I'll be adding 1 tablespoon of chicken broth. However, I am doing the opposite. I only put in 1 tablespoon of butter, and then I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of chicken broth, just because I know like it's gonna be hard for me to kind of like have that much fat. Like it can upset my stomach, and I don't like the mouth feel of it. Okay, so now that I've got this melted, I'm gonna go ahead and add in my shrimp. And I don't remember what the original recipe calls for, like the amount of shrimp to add, but I'm just adding what I have left over. And I'm actually going to turn this down because I don't really want this butter to like brown. I want it to make like a sauce for me. And I'm going to go ahead and add those 2 tablespoons of chicken broth. And I'm just going to let this cook until the shrimp is cooked through. Okay, so my shrimp is cooked through. I'm going to turn this down to like a low. I do want to add my noodles in, but I don't really want to cook them. I just want to kind of like have them be warmed up in the sauce. So that's why I'm just going to keep it on low and not like also have my shrimp continue to cook. I don't want overcooked shrimp either. So I'm just going to let this warm up a little bit, and then I will add some lemon juice and give it a try. It's okay. It has a lot of paprika flavor, but it's not overpowering, which is nice, but it's just like kind of lacking any other flavor, and I think it's probably because there's no salt in here. I'm going to add a little bit of ground black pepper and some salt. I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Yeah, that's better. I definitely needed some salt. I don't know. It's kind of just there. I doubt this is something that I would make again. It'll be good to get lots of protein in, but like it's not something that I particularly enjoy. It's not bad. With my dinner, I also had a Okios 000 yogurt to get some more protein in. It's got 15 grams of protein. As you can see here, I'm a little short on my protein today. I ended up with 1,300 calories, 150 protein, 32 net carbs, and 62 fat. Most of the time I'm at or above my protein level, so I'm not worried about it. I did just want to kind of get a little bit more because I am fairly short today. So I ended up with a deficit of about 600 calories, slightly more than I tend to like to have. But it's not like I've had a lot of days where I'm like over in my deficit. So it'll be just fine. Maybe I'll see it tomorrow.